You meet them and nothing about that day feels significant. That's the thing. It never does. Maybe you're in a waiting room, a classroom, a new job on your third week, somewhere ordinary, somewhere you've been 100 times. They sit near you and they speak first. Always first. Something small. A comment about the weather or the food or something stupid happening nearby. You laugh. It's easy. It doesn't feel like anything is starting. But something is starting. Within a week you're texting. Within a month you're telling them things. Real things. The kind of things you don't say until you trust someone. And that's what gets you. How fast the trust builds. How natural it feels. They remember everything you say. They check in after hard days. They show up. You think, finally someone who actually gets it. You're not wrong that the feeling is real. You're just wrong about what's causing it. Every conversation is going somewhere, and it isn't where you think. They're learning you. Not in the way a friend learns you. In the way someone learns a lock before they pick it. They figure out what you need most. For most people, it's one of three things: to feel understood, to feel chosen, or to feel like they finally belong somewhere. Whatever yours is, they find it fast, and they feed it. Meanwhile, you're opening up. You're telling them about the falling out with your family, the thing that happened at your old job, the insecurity you've carried since you were 15. They hold all of it carefully. They seem honored by it. They share things back too, but think about it later and you'll realize their stories were always vague. Nothing traceable. Nothing that could actually come back on them. Yours had names, dates, details. You gave them the whole map. They gave you a sketch. There's a point where something brushes up against you. A feeling, a moment, something someone says. Maybe a person you barely know pulls you aside and goes quiet for a second before they speak. And what they say is something like, "Just watch yourself around that one." You laugh it off immediately. You defend them without even thinking about it. You say, "No, you don't know them like I do." You walk away and you almost feel angry at the warning. That reaction, that instant defense, that's not loyalty. That's the work they've already done inside your head. You go home that night and something sits in your chest. Small, uncomfortable. You can't name it. Next day they bring you something. Coffee, a meme, a voice note that makes you crack up. The feeling disappears. You let it disappear. And that choice, that small, completely understandable choice, costs you more than you know. The first few times it happens you genuinely aren't sure. Maybe you're being sensitive. Maybe you misread it. Something you told them in private gets brought up in a group, just casually, framed as a joke, barely anything, but you feel it land. You see the way one person looks at you slightly differently after. You bring it up to them quietly later, and this is where you see something for the first time, how good they are at this. They don't get defensive. They don't deflect. They get hurt. Suddenly you're watching them be upset with themselves over what they did to you. Suddenly you're telling them it's okay. You walk home from that conversation feeling strange. Like something happened, but you can't grab onto it. Like you went in with a complaint and came out apologizing. That feeling is important. That feeling is the whole thing. At some point you stop noticing when you changed. But you did change. You're monitoring yourself around them now. Thinking before you speak. Adjusting. You want to be the version of yourself they respond well to. Your older friendships have gotten thin. Not because of a fight. Just because you've been absent. Because your attention has been somewhere else. They start becoming less available. Nothing dramatic. They just take longer to reply. Cancel once. Reschedule, and then go quiet. And you feel it in your stomach. That low-grade anxiety when someone doesn't text back. That need to fix something that you can't even name. Then they bring someone new into the group. And you watch them do the thing. The listening. The remembering. The making that person feel chosen. And you feel protective. Competitive even. You are now in competition for the approval of someone who is walking you off a cliff. And you're running toward the edge. Something you worked for doesn't come through. A job. A spot. An opportunity that mattered. You don't find out from them. You find out sideways. Through someone else. In a casual conversation that turns uncomfortable halfway through. Your name came up somewhere. In a room you weren't in. And something was said. Nothing obvious. Nothing that sounds like a knife when you hear it repeated. Just a question. Just a small planted doubt. I don't know. I've just heard some things. That's the whole sentence. That's all it takes. You go to them. You're not even accusatory. You're confused. And they are incredible in this moment. They are angry for you. They are disgusted on your behalf. They want to know who said it. They tell you that you're the most capable person they know and that whoever did this is simply intimidated by you. You drive home feeling better. Then you lie awake at 2 in the morning and you do the math. Who knew about that opportunity? Who had the context to say something that specific? Who would have been trusted enough to be listened to? One name. Same name every time. This is the part that changes everything. You stop reacting. You stop confiding. You keep showing up, but now you're watching. And what you see is a pattern so clean, it almost looks professional. The way every friend group around them eventually splinters. The way there's always drama, and they're always somehow just outside of it. Concerned, supportive, never the cause. The way they talk about people who aren't in the room. Small comments. Nothing you could screenshot and show someone. Just enough to shift how you feel about a person. And then it hits you. The stories they told you early on. The people who betrayed them. Who came out of nowhere and turned on them. Who were jealous or unstable or couldn't handle a real friendship. You believed every one of those stories. You felt protective when you heard them. Now you're thinking about those people differently. Because you're becoming one of them. And you understand, those people didn't betray anyone. They just figured it out before you did. Let's actually look at what's gone. The friendships you had before them, mostly quiet now. Some of that is life. Some of it was managed. The opportunity that fell through. You'll spend years not knowing how much of that was them and how much was just bad timing. That uncertainty is its own kind of damage. It follows you. But here's the thing that took the longest to see. The way you talk about yourself changed. Somewhere in the middle of all of this, you picked up a story about who you are. Reactive. Too intense. Hard to deal with. And you didn't write that story. It was written around you, in small comments, in the way things got framed, in what got repeated and what got left out. You started managing yourself in public in ways you never did before. Smaller, more careful, less sure. That's not a personality trait. That's a wound wearing a personality's clothes. And they are fine. They are at a different table, laughing. Someone new is leaning in toward them, feeling chosen, feeling seen. Full circle, new target. Your phone lights up. Their name. Haven't talked in so long. Been thinking about you. We should actually catch up. And before your brain can catch up with your body, you feel something warm. 1 second, maybe 2, just enough to hate yourself for it. Because that warmth is real. It's just old. It's muscle memory. It's the body remembering something the mind has already processed and moved past. That's how long this kind of thing lives inside you. You put the phone down. You don't reply. But you sit there for a minute and you feel the pull. That irrational, embarrassing pull. And instead of judging yourself for it, you just let yourself feel it. Because the grief here is real, even if the friendship wasn't. What you lost wasn't fake to you. The feeling of belonging was real. The laughs were real. The relief of thinking someone finally understood you, that was real. You just didn't know what it was costing you while you had it. You know what this looks like now. You know it looks like someone who earns trust faster than trust should move. You know it looks like a person who is somehow always near the drama, but never in it. You know it looks like warmth that appears right after a boundary, right after a moment of distance, right when you were about to pull back. You know it looks like someone who makes you feel uniquely understood because they studied you to make you feel that way. You know now that the person who warned you wasn't jealous. They were a few steps ahead of you. And you know that the version of you that felt too sensitive, too reactive, too much, that wasn't you. That was the result of living close to someone who needed you off balance to stay in control. Here's the last thing. They texted you like nothing happened. And they genuinely believe nothing did. Not because they're unaware of what they do, but because in their framework, you were never a person they had a friendship with. You were a function. And functions don't get apologies. They just get reactivated when they're needed again. So don't go back. Not because you're angry. Because you're clear. And clarity, real clarity, the kind that took all of this to earn, is the one thing they can never take back from you once you have it.